The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and despair, its dim lights casting shadows on my trembling hands. I lay broken on the cot, pain radiating from my ribs, but the deeper wound was fear Marcus, my guiding star, might be lost forever. I clutched a tattered teddy bear, its worn fur a fragile tether to the girl I'd been, brave in Chicago's dark alleys. A faded photo of Marcus and me, taken under autumn oaks at the Foundation's launch, slipped to the floor. His smile, warm as September light, clashed with my dread. Beside it, his unopened letter, edges curling like dying leaves, taunted me. I couldn't face his words, not when Victoria's cruelty echoed in my skull. In that warehouse, her knife had gleamed, her voice a cold wind promising Marcus's ruin. I'd screamed, ropes biting my wrists as her heels clicked on damp concrete. Now, tears soaked the bear as I curled tighter, the machine's beeps mocking my frailty. A creak broke the silence. A stranger stood in the doorway, their face hidden in shadow, holding a wooden box carved with ivy. They set it beside me without a word and vanished into the night, leaving a whisper of hope in their wake. Victoria's sneer haunted me, her laughter a storm that wouldn't fade. In that rotting warehouse, she loomed over me, her eyes glinting with vengeance older than her greed for Marcus's empire. He trusted you, she'd spat, and that'll bury him. The ropes had burned, each struggle a plea to the universe. Her knife, sharp as winter frost, caught the bulb's flicker, its edge a promise of pain. I'd screamed through the gag, my heart a frantic drum, as her heels echoed like falling stones. But then, a soft step at the door. A figure, cloaked in darkness, watched, their silence louder than her threats. Their gaze, steady as a river, held mine, sparking a fragile courage. I clung to that memory now, the teddy bear heavy in my arms, its stitches fraying like my resolve. Marcus's photo lay crumpled, his eyes urging me to rise. The unopened letter held secrets I feared, his faith in me, perhaps, or a farewell. The stranger's box, cool under my fingers, hummed with mystery. My breath caught, steadying. I had to fight. For Marcus, for the girl who'd once stopped killers in an alley, for the hope that still flickered, faint as dawn. The box's ivy carvings seemed to pulse under the hospital's harsh light, each leaf a story untold. Victoria's plan, to shatter Marcus's legacy, to claim his world, felt like a noose tightening. She'd stood in that warehouse, her smile a blade, her words venom. You're nothing but his weakness. My wrists, raw from ropes, had ached as I'd twisted, desperate for freedom. The gag had choked my cries, but my eyes had screamed defiance. That stranger at the door, they'd seen it, known it, without speaking. Their presence, quiet as falling snow, had shifted something in me. Now, I traced the box's edges, its weight grounding me. The teddy bear lay forgotten, its softness no match for the fire rekindling in my chest. Marcus had given me a law compass once, silver and true, to guide my path. I wouldn't let Victoria erase him. My fingers found the box's latch, trembling but sure. It clicked open, revealing a small silver key, gleaming like a star. No note, just the key, cold, heavy, a riddle from the stranger. I closed my eyes, the key warm in my palm, vowing to rise, to honor Marcus, to reclaim the courage of that alley night. The walk home from the hospital felt endless. Chicago's winter wind slicing through my thin jacket like a betrayal. Our apartment, a cramped box in Pilsen, greeted me with silence. No clatter of mom's cooking, no hum of life. The walls, stained with years of struggle, seemed to lean in, heavy with memories of loss. At 12, I'd learned hunger before hope, carrying the weight of mom's tired eyes in our unpaid bills. That night in the alley, I'd been chasing bread from the community bakery, my sneakers crunching frost under streetlights. I was no stranger to shadows, but they'd never held such violence. Two men, faces masked, beat a stranger with clubs, their grunts echoing like thunder. Fear froze me, yet something fiercer, courage, raw and unpolished, surged. I screamed, a sound sharp as breaking glass. And they fled. The man, bloodied, was Marcus Thorne, a name I didn't know then. His eyes, grateful under pain, met mine, planting a seed of purpose. Back home, I clutched the stranger's key. It's silver cold as the snow outside. The apartment's emptiness mirrored my heart, scarred by fear. Yet that alley moment whispered of strength, urging me to hold fast. That alley night haunted me, its echoes louder than the city's hum. Mom, Sarah, worked double shifts at the diner, her hands cracked from dishwater, her dreams buried under rent. We'd lost Dad to a factory accident years ago, his absence a wound that never closed. I'd grown up navigating Pilsen's cracked sidewalks, dodging trouble, carrying grocery bags heavier than my years. That evening, the bakery's promise of day-old bread had drawn me through the cold, my breath fogging in the dark. The alley was a shortcut, its shadows familiar until they weren't. Marcus's groans, the club's dull thuds, stopped me cold. I could have run, should have, but my feet stayed rooted. My scream wasn't planned. It tore free, a wild thing, scattering the attackers like leaves in a gust. Marcus, struggling to rise, looked at me like I'd pulled him from a river. He didn't know my name, but his whispered "thank you" carved itself into me. Now, in our silent apartment, I traced the key's edges, its mystery a tether to that night. The hospital's box sat on our wobbly table, ivy carvings glowing faintly. My scars, poverty, loss, fear ached. But that alley had shown me I could be more. Home was a museum of survival, each scuff marked a story of Mom and me against the world. Pilsen streets, lined with murals and rusted fences, were my training ground, teaching me to be quick, quiet, fierce. That night, I'd only wanted bread, a small victory over hunger. The alley's darkness hid danger, but I knew its paths until Marcus's beating shattered the ordinary. His attackers, cloaked in black, moved with purpose, not greed. This wasn't a mugging. It was an execution stopped by my voice. Kneeling by Marcus, I saw a man who didn't belong in Pilsen's grit, yet his eyes held no arrogance, only gratitude. He pressed a bloodied hand to mine, promising we'd meet again. That moment, under the alley's flickering lamp, rewrote me. Back in the apartment, the key gleamed, a star against our peeling paint. Mom's coat hung limp, her absence loud. The hospital's gift, the box, the key, felt alive, its carvings whispering of forests far from Chicago's concrete. My wounds, from Dad's death to Victoria's ropes, throbbed, but the alley had lit a spark. I wasn't just Lily, the hungry kid. I was someone who'd saved a life. Snow fell soft on Pilsen's streets as I trudged home, the stranger's key heavy in my pocket. The hospital's sterile echo lingered, Victoria's threats a shadow on my heart. At the corner of 18th Street, where murals bled color into gray, a man stood under a street lamp, his coat dusted with flakes. His face, bruised but kind, stopped me. He was the man from the alley, Marcus Thorne. No billionaire's polish, just a weary traveler in my world. He didn't ask my name, only nodded, like we'd shared a secret under the stars. "You're the girl who screamed," he said, voice low as a river's hum. His eyes, deep as oak roots, saw my fear, my hunger, without judgment. We stood, snow settling on us, the city's noise fading. He spoke of courage, how it blooms in the dark, like seeds under frost. I wanted to tell him about Victoria, the warehouse, but words stuck. Instead, he pressed a silver law compass into my palm. Its needle steady, engraved with "Find Your Way." He smiled, then walked into the night, leaving me rooted, the law compass warm against the key. His presence, brief as a hawk's shadow, stirred something ancient in me, a call to rise. Marcus's appearance felt like fate, a thread pulled tight from that alley night. I'd saved him, a stranger then, but now his gaze held me like family. Under the street lamp, Pilsen's grit softened, the snow a quiet him. He didn't pry into my life, Mom's endless shifts, our crumbling apartment, but his silence invited trust. "You changed everything," he said, his voice carrying the weight of secrets like wind through pines. I clutched the key, its edges sharp, wondering if he knew about the box, the hospital's mystery. His law compass gleamed, its silver catching light like a frozen pond. He spoke of paths, how one choice, my scream, had rippled, saving him, shifting his world. I wanted to confess my fear. How Victoria's knife still haunted my dreams, but his calm stopped me. He saw me, not as a poor kid, but as a force, like a river carving stone. When he handed me the law compass, it felt alive, its needle pointing not north but somewhere deeper. He didn't promise safety, only purpose. As he left, snow swallowed his steps, but the law compass pulsed in my hand, a gift heavier than silver, whispering of journeys yet to come, tying me to him, to hope. The law compass rested beside the key in my pocket, two mysteries under Pilsen's snowy sky. Marcus's words lingered, each one a pebble dropped in still water, rippling through my doubts. He'd stood there, a man who owned empires, yet spoke to me like I held the world's weight. His breath had clouded in the cold. His eyes tracing the murals, art born from struggle, like me. He didn't ask why I'd been in that alley, didn't flinch at my frayed coat. Instead, he shared a story of a boy lost in woods, saved by a single star. I felt it, his trust, warm as a hearth, thawing my fear. The law compass, engraved with delicate script, was no trinket. It was a vow, a map for a girl who'd only known survival. I thought of Mom, asleep in our cold apartment, unaware of this moment. Marcus's gift, like the key, carried no explanation, only weight. As snow dusted my hair, I saw him vanish into the dark, his coat a shadow against the city's glow. My heart, scarred by loss and Victoria's cruelty, stirred. The law compass pointed to something bigger: courage, purpose. A path I'd find with Marcus's faith guiding me. Morning light spilled through our apartment's cracked window, painting Pilsen's murals gold. The law compass and key lay on our table, glinting like promises. Marcus appeared at our door, his coat still dusted with last night's snow, holding a paper bag. "Breakfast," he said, voice soft as dawn. Mom, bleary from her shift, raised an eyebrow but let him in. He set out warm bagels and coffee, the steam curling like mist over a lake. We sat, awkward at first, the table wobbling under our hands. His fingers brushed the law compass, and he smiled, asking about my writing dreams. I mumbled about stories, my voice small, but his nod felt like sunlight on frozen ground. Victoria's shadow, her knife, her sneer, hovered, yet his presence eased it. He fixed our leaky faucet, his hand steady, humming a tune like wind through branches. The drip stopped, and so did my racing heart. Mom laughed, a sound rare as spring in winter. Marcus didn't promise riches, only said, "I'll stop by when I can." As he left, the bagel's warmth lingered in my hands, and the apartment felt less hollow. His quiet care, like roots spreading unseen, made me feel less alone, tethered to something growing. Marcus's visit reshaped our morning. His ease a balm against Pilsen's grind. The bagels, still hot, smelled of yeast and comfort, a gift unasked for. Mom, usually guarded, softened as he spoke of Chicago's hidden corners, alleys like the one where I'd saved him. He didn't flaunt his wealth. His coat was plain, his eyes worn as driftwood. When I showed him my notebook, its pages scrawled with half-formed tales, he read a line aloud, his voice giving my words weight. "You see the world," he said, and I blushed, Victoria's cruelty fading under his gaze. He knelt to tighten a loose chair leg, his hand sure, the screwdriver dancing like a painter's brush. The chair held firm, and I felt steadier too. Mom watched, her tired hands still, a spark of trust in her eyes. The law compass on the table caught light, its needle unwavering. Marcus glanced at it, then me, as if we shared a map. "Keep writing, Lily," he said before leaving. His words a seed planted deep. The key beside the law compass hummed, its purpose unclear but vital. Our apartment, once a cage of worry, breathed easier, warmed by his small acts. His promise to return a quiet vow. The day unfolded softer after Marcus left, Pilsen's streets less sharp under the snow's hush. I held the law compass, its silver cool, feeling his faith in me like a hearth's glow. Mom hummed as she washed dishes, the faucet's silence a gift from his hands. I opened my notebook, words flowing where fear had choked them. Victoria's voice, her warehouse threats, still whispered, but Marcus's bagels, his steady presence, dulled her edge. He'd sat with us, not above us. His stories of lost trails and found paths weaving into mine. When he tightened the chair, his hum had filled the room, a melody like a stream over stones. I saw Mom smile, her shoulders lighter, as if his kindness had lifted years of strain. The key, tucked in my pocket, pressed against me, a mystery tied to the hospital's box. Marcus hadn't mentioned it, but his law compass felt like its kin, guiding me towards something vast. His parting words, "I'll stop by," weren't grand, but they rooted me, like oaks standing through storms. Our apartment, with its peeling paint, felt like a home again. Its walls holding his warmth, our shared moments a bridge to a future where I wasn't so alone. Marcus appeared again, no fanfare, just a shadow at our door as Pilsen's dusk turned the sky to amber. He carried a toolbox, its clank soft as pebbles in a stream. "Saw your light on," he said, stepping into our apartment's dim glow. Mom, nursing a cold, offered a tired smile as he knelt to fix our creaking floorboard. His hands, steady as oak, worked the nails, each tap a quiet promise. I watched, the lock compass warm in my pocket, its needle true. Victoria's threats, her knife, her warehouse still nod, but Marcus's presence dulled them, like moonlight softening shadows. He stayed to cook, chopping carrots with care. The knife's rhythm a song of calm. The soup steamed, filling our home with warmth, and Mom's cough eased as she sipped. He asked about my stories, his eyes bright as a forest at dawn. I shared a tale of a lost girl, and he listened, nodding like it mattered. As he left, he pressed a small notebook into my hands, its leather soft as moss. "For your words," he said. Vanishing into the snow. His quiet care, steady as a river's flow, wove into our days, making our cracked walls feel like a sanctuary. Days later, Marcus returned, his coat flecked with frost. A loaf of bread tucked under his arm. Passing through, he mumbled, though his eyes said more. Our apartment, once heavy with worry, brightened as he fixed a flickering lamp. Its bulb now steady as a star. His tools clinked, a melody of mending, while I scribbled in the notebook he'd given me. Mom, still weak, watched him with growing trust, her hands idle for once. He swept our tiny porch, snow piling like feathers, then sat with me to read my latest story. His voice, low and warm, brought my words to life, each sentence a bridge between us. Victoria's sneer lingered in my dreams, but Marcus's small acts, tightening hinges, sharing bread, built a shield. The key from the hospital box pressed against my thigh. Its mystery unanswered but alive. He didn't ask about it, only glanced at the lock compass on our table, its silver catching light. Keep going, Lily, he said, leaving as quietly as he came. His visits, unannounced yet constant, were roots sinking deep, grounding me. The apartment smelled of bread and lamplight, its warmth a testament to his care. A reminder I wasn't alone in Pilsen's cold. Marcus's returns became a rhythm, like seasons turning in Pilsen's concrete heart. One evening, he brought a tin of tea. It sent like pine woods after rain. Thought you'd like this, he said, setting it beside our chipped mugs. He fixed our stuck window, letting winter air kiss the room, crisp and clean. Mom, stronger now, joined us as he stirred a pot of stew, his movements sure, like a gardener tending soil. I read him a poem, my voice shaky but bold, the notebook's pages curling under my fingers. He leaned in, his silence a canvas for my words, his nod a spark to my courage. The lock compass and key sat nearby, their secrets humming, tying me to that alley, that hospital night. Victoria's venom, her plan to ruin Marcus, faded under his steady gaze. He didn't speak of his world, only ours, asking about Mom's diner shifts, my school. As he left, he tucked a wool scarf around my neck, its warmth lingering like a hug. See you soon, he said, stepping into the dark. His small, repeated kindnesses, tools, tea, time, wove a tapestry of trust, making our apartment a haven, its walls alive with the hope he carried. Pilsen's streets glowed under fresh snow as Marcus knocked, his breath clouding like mist over a dawn lake. He held a sketch pad, its edges crisp, and grinned at me, eyes warm as cedar. For your stories, he said, stepping into our apartment's soft light. I took it, fingers brushing the paper, feeling his faith in me like sunlight through pines. We sat by the window, Mom stirring tea he'd brought, its piney scent filling the room. I showed him a drawing, a girl in an alley, fierce and small. He traced it, nodding, his silence a riverbed for my dreams. Later, he taught me to whittle, his knife carving a tiny sparrow from scrap wood. I gave it to him, my hands shy, and he tucked it in his pocket, promising to keep it close. Mom laughed, her voice rare and bright, as we ate his stew, the table steady now from his fixes. The lock compass gleamed beside the key. Their mysteries entwined. Victoria's shadow, her warehouse cruelty, faded, but a new fear bloomed. This warmth, this almost family, felt fragile, like frost on glass. As Marcus left, his scarf around my neck, I clutched the sketch pad, heart aching with hope I didn't trust, yet couldn't let go. Marcus's visits wove into our days, each one a thread in Pilsen's tapestry. He arrived one dusk, carrying a book of poems, its cover worn as river stones. Read this, he said, settling at our table, where Mom sliced apples he'd brought, their tang sharp as autumn. I read aloud, my voice wobbling, but his eyes, steady as oaks, urged me on. He sketched with me, our pencils scratching in rhythm, drawing Pilsen's murals, color against gray. I gave him a sketch of a lock compass, its needle true, and he pinned it above our sink, calling it art. We played checkers, his laughter deep as a forest hum when I won. Mom joined, her hands soft, no longer clenched. The key from the hospital box pressed in my pocket, its weight a quiet question, but Marcus's presence answered louder. He fixed our radio. Old songs crackling like leaves underfoot, and we danced, clumsy but free. Victoria's threats, her knife, her venom, dimmed, yet hope scared me more. What if this bond broke? What if Marcus left? As he waved goodbye, his sparrow in his pocket, I held the poem book, its words heavy. Our apartment, alive with his care, felt like home, but my heart trembled, fearing the cost of loving this new light. One evening, Marcus brought a star chart, its constellations sprawling like dreams across paper. For you, he said, spreading it on our floor. Pilsen's cold kept at bay by our glowing lamp. We traced Orion, his belt bright, as Mom watched, her smile soft as moonlight. I drew a star on my sketch pad, naming it for Marcus, and he chuckled, tucking my drawing in his coat. He told stories of nights under open skies, his voice a current pulling me to vast places. I gave him a braided cord, woven from yarn, a child's gift, and he tied it round his wrist, eyes shining. We ate Mom's pie, his apples inside, the crust flaking like dry leaves. The law compass and key sat on the table, their secrets humming, tying us to that alley, that hospital. Victoria's cruelty, her ropes, her plan, felt distant, but hope was a sharp edge. I saw us three, a family in the lamplight, and it terrified me. Losing this would hurt worse than hunger. As Marcus left, star chart under my arm, I stood in our doorway, Pilsen snow falling. Our apartment held his warmth, but my heart quaked, knowing hope, like stars, could fade in dawn's harsh light. Pilsen's twilight wrapped our apartment in quiet as Marcus arrived, a jar of honey in hand, its amber glow like captured sun. We sat by the lamp, Mom asleep after her shift, the law compass glinting on the table. I traced its edges, heart heavy, and spoke of Dad, his laugh, loud as a summer storm, silenced by a factory's cruel machine. He taught me to write, his pencil guiding mine, but his death left holes no words could fill. Victoria's warehouse flashed, her knife, her sneer, but Dad's loss cut deeper. A wound Pilsen's streets couldn't heal. Marcus listened, his eyes like still lakes, holding my grief without breaking. He spoke of his sister, lost to illness, her voice a melody he chased in dreams. She loved honey, he said, pushing the jar toward me. His pain, raw as mine, wove us closer, like vines twining in a forest. I showed him Dad's old pen, its ink long dry, and he held it gently, as if it breathed. The key in my pocket pressed hard, its mystery tied to this moment. Hope grew, warm but sharp, scaring me. Losing Marcus now would echo Dad's absence. As he left, honey sweet on my tongue, I feared this bond, fragile as dawn's first light. Marcus returned at dusk, Pilsen's air thick with coming snow, a wool blanket folded over his arm. For your mom, he said, settling at our table, where the law compass and key caught fading light. I spoke of Dad again, his hands calloused from work, his stories of rivers he'd never see. The factory accident stole him, leaving Mom's eyes dim and my heart a cracked window. Victoria's threats, her ropes, her venom, paled beside that grief, a shadow heavier than Pilsen's gray. Marcus's gaze, steady as granite, held no pity, only understanding. He shared his sister's memory, her love for painting, her laugh like wind chimes, gone too soon. I see her in the sky's colors, he said, voice soft as moss. His loss mirrored mine, a bridge of shared sorrow. I pulled Dad's pen from my pocket, its weight grounding me, and Marcus traced its scratches, nodding. The blanket warmed Mom's chair, his care a quiet root in our home. The key's secret hummed, linking hospital nights to now. Hope bloomed, a flower in cracked earth, but its beauty terrified me. If Marcus vanished, like Dad, I'd break again. As he stepped into the snow, blanket left behind, I clutched the pen, heart torn between love and fear's cold grip. Snow-dusted Pilsen's murals as Marcus knocked, a small wooden box in hand, carved like the hospital's gift. For you, he said, sitting close, the law compass glowing under our lamp. I told him of Dad's last day, his promise to read my story. Undone by steel and fate, that loss carved me, made Pilsen's hunger sharper, Victoria's cruelty just another scar. Marcus's eyes, deep as twilight woods, held my words. his silence a hearth for my pain. He opened the box, revealing a locket, his sister's, etched with a star. She dreamed of the sea, he said, his voice breaking like waves. Our griefs entwined. Like branches under snow, each story a step closer. I gave him Dad's pen, its barrel chipped, and he tucked it in his coat, a vow to carry it. The key in my pocket sang, its riddle alive, tying us to hope. Mom stirred, her breath soft, warmed by his blanket. This bond, strong as a river's current, scared me. Hope was a flame, beautiful but burning. If Marcus left, like Dad, Pilsen's cold would swallow me. As he walked into the night, locket gleaming, I held the box, heart heavy with love I feared to trust. Pilsen's dawn broke cold, frost tracing our window as Marcus arrived, a thermos of cocoa steaming in his hands. He poured it, the scent rich as earth after rain, and we sat, the lock compass glinting beside Dad's pen. I wanted to trust this warmth, but fear coiled tight. Hope had betrayed me before, with Dad's death, with Victoria's ropes. Marcus's eyes, deep as a forest heart, saw my hesitation. Hope's a heavy thing, he said, voice low, like leaves settling. I admitted my dread. If he left, like Dad, Pilsen's gray would crush me. He didn't promise forever, only stirred the cocoa. His silence a steady root. We walked to the alley where I'd saved him, snow crunching underfoot, the murals watching. He pointed to a painted star, saying it held his sister's light. I traced the key in my pocket, its mystery a pulse, and spoke of Victoria's warehouse, her knife's cold edge. Marcus nodded, his hand on my shoulder, warm as oak bark. Back home, Mom slept, wrapped in his blanket. This bond, fragile as a sparrow's wing, scared me, but his presence felt like soil under my feet. As he left, cocoa lingering, I held the lock compass, daring to hope. Despite the ache, Marcus knocked at noon, Pilsen's sky heavy with unshed snow, a small lantern in his grip. For your stories, he said, setting it on our table, its glow soft as moonlight on water. I stared at the key, the lock compass, Dad's pen, each a tether to him, yet fear gnawed. Hope was a trap, like Dad's smile before the factory took him. Victoria's sneer, her warehouse threats, sharpened my doubt. What if Marcus vanished too? His gaze, calm as a river's bend, met mine. Fear's part of it, he murmured, lighting the lantern. I confessed my terror. Loving him meant risking loss, a wound I couldn't bear. He didn't flinch, just handed me a mug of tea, its steam curling like mist. We sat by the window, watching snow dust Pilsen's murals. I spoke of Dad's stories, how they died with him, and Marcus shared his sister's love for lanterns, their lighter comfort. His hand brushed mine, steadying me like roots in a storm. The key's weight pressed, its secret alive, linking us to that hospital night. Mom stirred, her cough softer now. Hope flickered, a flame I feared to feed, but Marcus's lantern glowed, urging me forward. As he left, I clutched the pen, heart torn but reaching. Evening fell, Pilsen's streets quiet as Marcus returned, a bundle of firewood under his arm. For warmth, he said. Stacking it by our stove, the wood scent sharp as pine. The lock compass caught lamplight, its needle true, but my heart wavered. Hope felt like standing on ice, waiting for it to crack. Victoria's cruelty, her ropes, her plan to ruin Marcus, loomed, feeding my fear of losing him. I told him, voice small, how Dad's death had taught me hope was a thief, stealing more than it gave. Marcus knelt, stoking the fire, his silence a canvas for my words. Hope's a seed, he said, buried before it grows. He spoke of his sister, how her loss taught him to carry light despite pain. We watched the flames, their dance like Pilsen's murals come alive. I showed him a poem, my hand shaking, and he read it aloud, his voice a current pulling me to shore. The key in my pocket hummed. Its riddle part of this moment. Mom smiled, warmed by the fire. Fear clung, but Marcus's steady presence, like a tree through seasons, eased it. As he stepped into the snow, firewood crackling, I held the lantern, hope stirring, fragile but fierce, against the dark. Pilsen's morning shimmered with frost as Marcus arrived, a leather journal in hand, its pages crisp as fallen leaves. For your dreams, he said, settling at our table, the lock compass glowing like a star. I confess my love for writing, how Dad's stories lived in me, but fear Victoria's knife. Her warehouse choked my voice. Marcus's eyes, deep as a canyon's shade, held no judgment. He opened the journal, urging me to write a line. My hand shook, but his nod, steady as a river's flow, guided me. Words spilled, a tale of a girl saving a stranger. He read it aloud, his voice warm as cedar smoke, making my story soar. He spoke of his sister's paintings, how art healed her pain, and offered to fund my writing classes. The key in my pocket pulsed, its mystery tied to his faith in me. Mom, stirring tea, smiled, her eyes soft. Victoria's shadow, her plan to ruin him, lingered. But Marcus's gift, a journal, a future, lit a spark. Hope grew, a vine through cracked earth, yet I feared its weight. What if I failed him? As he left, journal under my arm, Pilsen's cold bit less. Our apartment, warmed by his belief, felt alive, but my heart trembled, holding hope like a fragile bird. Dusk painted Pilsen's murals gold as Marcus knocked, a small typewriter under his arm, its keys gleaming like river pebbles. Try this, he said, setting it beside the law compass, its needle true. I spoke of Dad's pen, how it carried his dreams until the factory stole them, and how Victoria's cruelty, her ropes, her sneer, made me doubt mine. Marcus listened, his silence a forest clearing, vast and safe. He typed a word, courage, and asked me to add another. I typed hope. Fingers clumsy, but his smile, bright as dawn, steadied me. We wrote a sentence together, a story taking root. He shared his sister's love for words, how she'd scribbled poems in margins, and proposed a scholarship for me, a path to a writing school. The key's weight pressed, its secret humming, linking us to that alley, that hospital box. Mom, folding his blanket, nodded, her trust in him clear. Victoria's plan, to ruin Marcus, loomed, but his typewriter clicked like a heartbeat, urging me forward. Hope bloomed, wild as prairie grass, but its roots scared me failure could break us both. As he stepped into the snow, typewriter left behind, I touched the keys, Pilsen's dusk softer. Our apartment, alive with his vision, breathed. But hope's light cast shadows I couldn't ignore. Night fell, Pilsen's stars faint as Marcus arrived, a stack of books, poetry, novels, tucked under his coat. For you, he said, placing them by the lantern, its glow soft as moonlight on snow. I told him of Dad's tales, how they lifted me above Pilsen's hunger, and how Victoria's warehouse, her cold blade, threatened to silence me. Marcus's gaze, calm as a lake at dawn, anchored me. He opened a book, reading a poem about resilience, his voice a current pulling me to shore. I wrote in the journal, a story of a girl finding her voice, and he clapped, calling it truth. He spoke of his sister's sketches, how they held her spirit, and offered to connect me with writers, a chance to grow. The key in my pocket saying, it's riddle part of this moment, tying us to hope. Mom, sipping his tea, glowed, her hands still. Victoria's menace, her plan to destroy Marcus, faded under his book's weight. Hope rose, a flame in winter, but its warmth unnerved me. If it died, so would I. As he left, books in my arms, Pilsen's night felt kind. Our apartment, rich with his dreams for me, breathed, but hope's promise, bright as stars, carried a fear I couldn't shake. Pilsen's sunrise bled pink as Marcus arrived, a keyring in hand, its metal glinting like dew on grass. For you and Sarah, he said, voice soft as a morning breeze, offering a new home, a penthouse, safe from Pilsen's dangers. Our apartment, cramped and peeling, seemed smaller under his gaze. I clutched the law compass, its needle steady, but Victoria's warehouse, her knife, her vow to ruin Marcus, tightened my chest. Accepting meant trust. A leap over Dad's grave. Marcus sat, sharing coffee, its warmth like sun on soil, and spoke of his sister's dream for a safe haven, lost with her. His eyes, deep as a forest shade, held mine, promising protection. I showed him my latest story, a girl defying shadows, and he nodded, seeing me. Mom, weary from her shift, listened, her hands still for once. The hospital key, now on a chain, hummed, its mystery tied to this rebirth. Hope bloomed, a river through stone, yet I feared its tide. If Victoria struck, could we hold? As he left, keyring in my palm, Pilsen's light softened. Our apartment, warmed by his care, felt fleeting, but his promise, solid as oak, urged me to trust, despite the risk. Midday sun warmed Pilsen's murals as Marcus returned, a map of Chicago in hand, marked with a safe address. A place for you, he said, spreading it beside the typewriter, its keys silent. I spoke of Dad's death, how it left us exposed, and how Victoria's ropes, her cold plan, haunted me. Moving meant leaving his memory, yet staying risked worse. Marcus's voice, calm as a river's bend, told of his sister's sketches of homes. Her hope for peace he now gave us. He didn't push, just folded the map, his fingers brushing the law compass. I typed a line, "Hope is a door," and he smiled, calling it truth. Mom, sipping his tea, met his eyes, her nod a quiet yes. The hospital key's weight pulsed, its secret alive, linking us to his faith. Victoria's shadow, her plot to destroy Marcus, loomed, but his offer, a penthouse far from Pilsen's grit, was a shield. Hope flared, a spark in winter, but fear clung. If we lost him, this dream would shatter. As he stepped into the street, map left behind. Pilsen's hum felt kind. Our apartment, rich with his vision, breathed, but accepting his gift, heavy as stone, meant betting on hope I barely trusted. Twilight draped Pilsen as Marcus knocked. A photo of a bright penthouse in hand, its windows wide as open skies. "Yours, if you want," he said, setting it by the lantern, its glow soft as starlight. I told him of Mom's struggles, her diner shifts, and how Victoria's cruelty, her warehouse, her blade, made safety a dream. His offer was a lifeline, but trust felt like stepping onto thin ice. He spoke of his sister, how she longed for a home where fear couldn't reach, her loss driving his gift. His hand rested on Dad's pen, grounding me. I read him a poem, my voice steady, about a girl choosing light. He clapped, his pride warm as embers. Mom, wrapping his blanket, agreed, her eyes bright. The hospital key in my pocket sang, its riddle part of this moment, tying us to hope. Victoria's menace, her empire of vengeance, faded under the photo's promise. Hope rose, a tide lifting stones, but its pull scared me failure could drown us. As Marcus left, photo gleaming. Pilsen's night felt gentle. Our apartment, alive with his dream, held us, but his offer, vast as a prairie, carried a weight I feared to carry, yet couldn't refuse. Pilsen's night was sharp as Marcus left, his penthouse key heavy in my hand. I clutched the law compass, its needle trembling, when glass shattered, our window smashed by unseen hands. A knife gleamed on my pillow, pinned to a note, "Leave or die." Victoria's shadow, her warehouse, her venom had found us. Mom's scream cut the dark, her hands shaking as she swept glass. Pilsen's cold seeping in. The key from the hospital box pressed in my pocket, its mystery now a warning. I thought of Dad, his loss a wound this threat reopened. Marcus's offer, a safe home, felt like salvation, but fear choked me. What if Victoria followed? I called him, voice breaking, and he arrived, his coat flecked with snow, eyes fierce as a storm's edge. He checked the locks, his silence steady as oak roots, and promised to move us tonight. Mom, clutching his blanket, nodded, her trust in him absolute. The law compass glowed, guiding me to him. But Victoria's note burned in my mind, her plan to ruin Marcus alive. Hope flickered, fragile as a candle, yet fear loomed. If we ran, would we escape her? As Marcus led us to his car. Pilsen Street silent, our apartment, scarred, felt lost, but his hand on my shoulder carried hope I dared to hold. Moonlight bathed Pilsen's murals as we packed, the broken window a gaping wound. The knife's blade, cold as Victoria's sneer, mocked our fragility, its note a vow of vengeance. I held Dad's pen, its weight anchoring me, but the hospital key's pulse quickened, tying me to that warehouse night. Mom's eyes, wide with fear, mirrored mine when Dad died. Pilsen's dangers now too real. Marcus returned, his voice low, like a river calming stones, urging us to his penthouse. He boarded the window, his hands sure, each nail a defiance of Victoria's threat. I showed him my journal, a story of a girl outrunning shadows, and he read it. His nod warm as cedar. "You're stronger than her," he said, meaning Victoria, whose ropes still haunted me. Mom packed his tea, her fingers steadying, drawn to his calm. The law compass, beside the typewriter, pointed to safety, but fear gnawed. Victoria's reach was long, her empire greedy. Hope, a seed in frozen earth, scared me. Losing Marcus would break us. As we left, Pilsen's frost biting, our apartment stood empty, its walls holding our past. Marcus's car waited, a beacon, and his promise, solid as granite, lit a path through fear, urging me to trust. Pilsen's dawn crept in, gray and heavy, as we loaded bags. the knife's threat etched in my mind. Victoria's note, her plan to destroy Marcus, to use me, felt like chains, her warehouse cruelty reborn. The law compass gleamed, its needle true, but the hospital key's weight screamed danger. Mom, wrapping Marcus's scarf, moved like a ghost, Pilsen's cold no match for her fear. Marcus arrived. His map of Chicago marked with our new home, his eyes fierce as a hawk's. He swept glass, his movements a dance against chaos, and spoke of his sister, how she'd faced fear with art. I showed him a poem, my voice small, about a girl choosing light. He tucked it in his coat, calling me brave. Mom, holding his books, agreed to leave, her trust in him a lifeline. Victoria's shadow, her greed, her blade, loomed, but Marcus's penthouse, a fortress, promised refuge. Hope rose, a tide against fear, but its pull terrified me. If Victoria struck, would we survive? As we drove from Pilsen, our apartment fading, its broken window a scar, Marcus's hand steadied me. The city blurred, but his presence, warm as a hearth, held us, guiding me to hope. Fragile yet fierce, against the dark. Chicago's skyline sparkled as we entered Marcus's penthouse, its windows wide as open fields, far from Pilsen's broken glass. The law compass rested in my pocket. Its needle calm, but Victoria's note, her knife, her threat, echoed, a storm beneath the calm. Mom, clutching Marcus's blanket, marveled at the space, her eyes soft as dawn. I traced the hospital key. Its mystery a pulse, tying me to that warehouse, that alley. Marcus showed us rooms, their walls clean as new snow, and set a vase of lilies on the table, their scent like spring's promise. I spoke of Dad, how he dreamed of safety, now real but heavy with risk. Marcus's gaze, warm as cedar, held mine. He spoke of his sister's hope for peace, mirrored here. I showed him my journal. A story of a girl finding home, and he nodded, his pride a hearth's glow. Mom brewed his tea, her hands steady, Pilsen's fear fading. Victoria's shadow, her plan to ruin Marcus, lingered. But this penthouse, a fortress, shielded us. Hope bloomed, a river through stone, yet I feared its tide. If Victoria struck, could we hold? As Marcus left, lilies glowing, the city hummed below. And our new home, rich with his care, whispered of trust one dared to embrace. Moonlight bathed the penthouse as we unpacked, Pilsen's scars, Victoria's note, her blade, distant but sharp. The law compass gleamed on a marble counter, its silver tying me to Marcus, to hope. Mom hung his scarf, her smile fragile as frost, the hospital key's weight a reminder of danger. Marcus returned, carrying a photo frame for Dad's picture, its wood smooth as river stones. For memory, he said, setting it beside my typewriter. I told him of Pilsen's hunger, how Dad's loss left us brittle, and how Victoria's ropes choked my dreams. His voice, low as a forest's hum, spoke of his sister's sketches, drawn in hardship, now honored here. I typed a line, a girl rises, and he clapped, calling it strength. Mom, folding his blanket, laughed, her warmth reborn. The key's secret pulsed, linking us to that hospital box, that alley scream. Victoria's greed, her vow to destroy Marcus, hovered, but these walls, strong as oaks, held her at bay. Hope grew, a vine through cracks, but its roots scared me. Safety felt like a gift too vast. As Marcus stepped out, the city's lights danced, our penthouse a haven. His frame held Dad's smile, grounding me, and hope, bright as moonlight, stirred, though fear whispered of storms yet to come. Dawn lit the penthouse, its glow soft as prairie grass, Pilsen's cold a memory. The law compass sat by my notebook, its needle true, but the hospital key's hum recalled Victoria's sneer. Her warehouse blade. Mom, sipping Marcus's tea, arranged his books, her hands light, free of diner grease. Marcus arrived, a basket of bread in hand, its warmth like sun on soil. For you, he said. Joining me at the window, Chicago's spires below. I spoke of Dad's stories, how they'd carried us, and how Victoria's threat, her cruel plan, made this safety feel fragile. He shared his sister's love for open spaces, her spirit in this home. I read a poem, my voice bold, about a girl claiming light. He smiled, his eyes deep as lakes, and Mom nodded, her trust in him solid. The key's riddle wove through us, tying alley to penthouse. Victoria's shadow, her empire of vengeance, faded, but fear clung. Could we keep this? Hope rose. a tide lifting stones, but its pull unnerved me. Loss could shatter us. As Marcus left, bread steaming, the penthouse breathed, its walls alive with his care. Dad's photo gleamed, and hope, fierce as dawn, grew, though I braced for Victoria's next strike. Chicago's dawn gilded the penthouse as Marcus joined us, a tray of pastries in hand, their warmth like sun on meadow grass. The lock compass gleamed beside Dad's photo, its needle steady, but the hospital key's pulse whispered of Victoria's knife, her notes threat. Mom, humming, set plates, her diner shifts now distant. We ate, laughter soft as a stream's ripple, Marcus asking about my stories. I read a tale of a girl weaving light, my voice bold, and he clapped, eyes bright as cedar. He spoke of his sister's love for mornings, how she'd chased dawn's glow, a joy we shared here. I traced the key, its mystery tying us to Pilsen's alley, that hospital night. Mom braided my hair, her touch warm, Marcus watching like family. Victoria's shadow, her plan to ruin him, hovered, but these walls, strong as granite, held us. We planned a writing desk for me, Marcus sketching it, his pencil dancing. Hope bloomed, a river through stone, yet I feared its tide. If Victoria struck, could we stand? As he left, pastries lingering, the city sparkled below. The penthouse, alive with our shared rhythm, felt like home, but hope, fragile as frost, trembled, knowing danger waited beyond our haven's light. Midday sun warmed the penthouse as Marcus returned, a potted fern in hand, its fronds soft as forest shade. For life, he said, placing it by the lock compass, its silver catching light. Mom, arranging his books, smiled, Pilsen scars, Victoria's note. Her blade, fading in her eyes. I spoke of Dad, how he'd loved green things, and how the hospital key's weight recalled Victoria's warehouse, her sneer. Marcus listened, his calm a lake's still surface, and shared his sister's garden, lost with her, now reborn here. I showed him a poem, a girl binding wounds with words, and he nodded, calling it power. We cooked, Marcus stirring soup, Mom chopping herbs, our hands moving like a quiet dance. The key's hum linked us to that alley scream, that hospital box. Victoria's greed, her vow to destroy Marcus, loomed. But this fern, this meal, rooted us. Hope grew, a vine through cracks, but its roots scared me. Loss could uproot us. As Marcus stepped out, fern leaves swaying, Chicago's hum softened. The penthouse, rich with our shared care, breathed, its walls holding Dad's photo, Mom's laugh. Hope, bright as midday, stirred, but Victoria's shadow, cold as Pilsen's frost, lingered, a storm we couldn't outrun. Twilight draped the penthouse, stars piercing Chicago's sky as Marcus arrived, a wool throw in hand. For comfort, he said, draping it over Mom's chair, the lock compass glowing nearby. I told him of Pilsen's nights, how Dad's stories lit them, and how Victoria's ropes, her cruel plan, threatened our peace. His voice, low as a forest hum, spoke of his sister's stargazing, her dreams woven into this haven. I read a story, my voice clear, about a girl claiming dawn. He smiled, his pride warm as embers, and Mom, sipping his tea, joined, her eyes alive. We hung fairy lights, their glow like fireflies, Marcus's hands steady. The hospital key pressed, its riddle alive, tying us to hope, to danger. Victoria's menace, her empire of vengeance, faded. But fear clung. This home, this family, could break. Hope rose, a tide lifting stones, but its pull unnerved me, her reach was long. As Marcus left, lights twinkling, the penthouse held us. Its air rich with soup, ferns, love. Dad's pen gleamed, grounding me, and hope, fierce as starlight, grew. Though I braced for Victoria's strike, hidden in Chicago's dark, ready to shatter our fragile peace. Chicago's dusk cloaked the penthouse as Marcus arrived, a folder in hand, offering to fund my writing school fully. His eyes, warm as cedar, sparkled, but the lock compass trembled in my pocket, Victoria's note, her knife, her threat, burning my mind. I saw his gift as pity, a rich man's balm for Pilsen's poor. I don't need saving, I snapped, voice sharp as broken glass, fear of Victoria's reach fueling my anger. Mom gasped, her hands clutching his scarf, but Marcus's face fell, a forest dimmed. He spoke of his sister, how he'd failed her. Not me, but I pushed back. Dad's lost raw. Charity couldn't replace him. The hospital key pressed, its mystery cold, tying me to that warehouse. I stormed to my room, slamming the door. Pilsen's echoes in my heart. Hours later, shadows moved. Men in black, Victoria's men, grabbed me, their grip like iron. I screamed, the penthouse's lights fading as they dragged me to a van. Marcus's folder lay abandoned, his offer misunderstood, my words a blade. Hope, once a river, dried. Victoria's plan, her vengeance, had won. As the van sped, Chicago's glow vanished. My heart broke. Fearing I'd lost Marcus, our bond shattered by my pride, leaving only her darkness. Moonlight pierced the van's grime as I woke, wrists bound, the hospital key biting my skin. Victoria's sneer from the warehouse, her blade, her vow to ruin Marcus, lived again. I'd rejected Marcus's help, his scholarship a mirror to my shame, not Dad's dreams. Pilsen taught me to stand alone, but my words had cut him, his eyes like a storm-struck oak. Mom's face, pale with worry, haunted me. She'd trusted Marcus, his tea still warm in her hands. The penthouse, our haven, felt worlds away, its ferns and fairy lights mocked by this cold steel. The La Compass, left behind, couldn't guide me now. Victoria's men whispered of her plan, to use me against Marcus, to break his empire. My anger at him, mistaking his love for pity, had opened this door. Hope, a seed in my chest, withered had I pushed him away for good. The van stopped, a warehouse looming. Its damp rot like her heart. I thought of Marcus's sister, her lost sketches, and my stories, unread. Fear choked me, but regret cut deeper. I'd wounded him, our bond fraying like old rope. As they pulled me inside, Chicago's stars hid, and I prayed Marcus would forgive me, though Victoria's grip promised no dawn, only her cruel victory. The warehouse reeked of mold, its shadow swallowing me as Victoria stepped forward, her smile sharp as winter frost. He can't save you, she hissed, her knife glinting, tying me to that first night, her ropes, her greed. I'd spurned Marcus's offer, his folder of dreams, thinking it belittled Pilsen's grit, my pride a shield against loss like Dad's. Now, bound again, I saw my mistake. His help was love, not charity, rooted in his sister's memory. The hospital key, hidden in my sleeve, hummed, a faint hope against her menace. Mom's laughter, warmed by Marcus's bread, felt like a lost song. The penthouse's glow, its lilies, its safety, was a world I'd broken with my words. Victoria's plan, to crush Marcus through me, unfolded, her men circling like wolves. My heart screamed for him, for Mom, but my rejection, calling his gift a handout, had built this cage. Hope, once a flame, flickered, starved by fear. I thought of the La Compass, its needle true, and Marcus's eyes. Hurt but kind. If I died here, our bond, fragile as a sparrow's wing, would die too. As Victoria raised her knife, Chicago's distant pulse faded, and I clung to regret, praying my pride hadn't severed the light Marcus offered. Bound in the warehouse's damp chill, I scratched words into the dirt with a stick, a letter to Marcus I'd never sent. Victoria's knife glinted nearby, her sneer, her plan to ruin him, alive in the shadows. I'd spurned his scholarship, called it pity, my pride a wall against Pilsen's wounds. Now, the hospital key, hidden in my sleeve, pulsed like a star, tying me to his La Compass, to hope. I wrote of Dad's loss, how it hardened me, and how I'd mistaken Marcus's love for charity, fearing it would break like Dad's promises. My words, raw as rain-soaked earth, begged forgiveness. I saw his heart, kind as cedar, offering a home, not a cage. Mom's laughter, warmed by his tea, haunted me. I'd heard her too. The penthouse's lilies, their scent like spring, felt worlds away. Victoria's men paced, her vengeance a storm, but my letter, etched in dust, was a vow. I'd fight for Marcus, for us. Hope, a seed in frost, stirred. My mistake wasn't the end. I thought of his sister's sketches, her light in him. As chains bit my wrists, Chicago's distant hum called, and I prayed my unspoken words would reach him, a bridge to mend our bond, fragile but alive. The warehouse's gloom pressed as I traced more words, my stick carving regret into the earth. Victoria's shadow, her ropes, her greed, loomed, but the hospital key's hum, warm against my skin, whispered of Marcus's faith. I'd rejected his gift, a riding school, thinking it diminished Pilsen's grit, my anger blinding me to his love, rooted in his sister's dreams. My letter spoke of Mom, her hands soft in the penthouse, and how my pride had cracked that peace. I wrote of the alley, my screams saving him, and how I'd failed him now, pushing him away when he offered roots. The law compass, left behind, would guide him to me, I hoped. Each word, rough as bark, was a plea. I was wrong, Marcus, your heart is home. Victoria's laugh echoed, her plan to break him through me unfolding, but my dirt letter held truth. I'd fight for him, for Mom. Hope. A river through stone flowed, though fear clung. Could he forgive me? I saw his eyes, hurt but kind, in the penthouse's glow. As her men tightened my bonds, Chicago's pulse faded, but my words, etched deep, were a vow to rebuild, to carry his light. The key glowed, and I clung to hope, frail as dawn, trusting he'd find me. Cold seeped through the warehouse floor as I scratched my final lines, a letter to Marcus, my heart in the dust. Victoria's blade, her vow to destroy him, cast shadows, but the hospital keys pulse, steady as a heartbeat, tied me to his law compass, to Dad's pen, to hope. I'd scorned his offer, a future for my words, fearing it made me small, not seeing his love, vast as a prairie sky. My words mourned Dad's death, how it taught me to guard my heart, and how I'd wounded Marcus, mistaking his care for control. Mom's trust in him, her smile over his bread. Cut me. I'd stolen that light. The penthouse, with its ferns and warmth, was a dream I'd shattered. My letter promised to rise, to honor his faith, to fight Victoria's grip. Hope, a flame in winter, scared me. Failure could douse it, but I saw his sister's spirit in him, urging me on. As Victoria approached, her eyes cold as frost, my words stood, a silent vow. I'd make this right, for Marcus. For us. Chicago's stars, unseen, called, and I held the key, its secret alive, praying my regret, carved in earth, would reach him, mending our bond before her knife severed it forever. The warehouse's dank air choked me, Victoria's knife glinting as she paced, her plan to crush Marcus a venomous tide. Bound, I clutched the hospital key, its pulse a lifeline to the law compass. To Pilsen's alley where I'd saved him. My dirt letter, scratched in regret, held my vow to mend our bond, broken by my pride. I'd spurned his scholarship, fearing it diminished me, but now saw his love, vast as a prairie dawn. The ropes burned, echoing her first attack, but I whispered Dad's stories, their strength like roots in stone. Mom's laughter, warmed by his tea, fueled me. I'd live for her, for him. Victoria's men growled orders, her greed a storm, but I sensed a shift, a distant hum like Chicago's pulse. Marcus was coming, his faith in me, bright as his sister's star, guiding him. Hope, a seed in frost, grew, though fear bit, if I died, our bond would too. I twisted the key, its edges sharp, a silent promise to fight. The warehouse's shadows danced, but my heart, lit by the penthouse's lilies, held firm. As Victoria loomed, her blade cold, I saw his eyes, kind as cedar, and prayed he'd find me. Our love stronger than her dark, a flame to carry me home. Victoria's sneer pierced the warehouse's gloom, her knife a mirror of her heart, her vow to destroy Marcus a chain around me. The hospital key, hidden in my sleeve, hummed, tying me to the law compass, to Mom's smile in the penthouse. My dirt letter, etched with sorrow, was my truth. I'd wronged Marcus, mistaking his gift for pity, but I'd fight to make it right. Dad's loss taught me resilience, his tale's a shield against Pilsen's cold, now my armor. I whispered them, each word a pebble in a stream, calming my fear. Victoria's men circled, her plan unfolding, but a noise, a faint crash, stirred the air. Marcus, I knew, his resolve like oak roots, was near. Hope, a river through stone, surged. Though terror clung, could I hold on? The key's pulse quickened, its secret alive, linking me to that hospital box, that alley screen. I saw the penthouse, its ferns swaying, Mom's hands soft. Victoria's laugh mocked me, but I clung to Marcus's faith, his sister's light in him. My ropes tightened, but my spirit, fierce as Pilsen's murals, rose. As her blade neared, Chicago's distant lights called, and I vowed to survive, for him, for us, our bond a beacon against her night, guiding him to me. The warehouse's rock clung as Victoria taunted, her knife tracing the air, her empire of greed aimed at Marcus's heart. The hospital keys glow, warm in my grip, wove me to the law compass, to Dad's pen, to hope. My dirt letter, carved in dust, was my soul's cry. I'd hurt Marcus, rejected his love, but I'd lived to heal it. Pilsen's lessons, hard as concrete, steadied me. I'd faced hunger, loss, and won. Now, I faced her, my eyes defiant. The ropes cut deep. A rumble outside tires, shouts broke the silence. Marcus, with his steady hands, his sister's dreams, was close. I felt it. Hope, a flame in winter, burned. Though fear whispered, Victoria's reach was vast. The keys hum, strong as a river's current, tied me to her moments, the penthouse's warmth, Mom's braided hair. Her men tensed, sensing trouble. But I smiled, small but fierce, knowing Marcus's love, vast as a forest, would find me. The warehouse quaked, shadows shifting, and I saw his face, kind as dawn, in my heart. As Victoria raised her knife, her plan unraveling, I held the key, its promise alive, vowing to endure, our bond a star-piercing Chicago's dark, leading him to save me. The warehouse doors burst open, Chicago's night flooding in as Marcus charged, his eyes fierce as a storm's edge. Victoria's knife fell, her men scattered, but I saw only him. My ropes cut by his trembling hands. The hospital key, clutched tight, pulsed, tying me to the law compass, to Pilsen's alley. No words passed, my regret, my pride, dissolved in his gaze. Warm as cedar under dawn, he pulled me close, his coat rough, smelling of snow and safety, the penthouse's lilies alive in memory. Mom's face, pale but whole, appeared behind him, her hands reaching. I stumbled, weak, but Marcus's arm, steady as oak, held me, his silence louder than Victoria's sneers. The keys hum faded, its mystery safe, as he led me to the van, Chicago's lights blurring past. In the penthouse, Mom wrapped me in his blanket, her touch soft as moss. Marcus sat, his hand brushing mine, a nod saying all, forgiveness, love, home. Hope, a river through stone, flowed. No longer feared. I saw his sister's star in his eyes, guiding us. Victoria's shadow, her greed, her blade, retreated, defeated. As dawn lit the city, our hands met, no vows needed, just presence. Like roots entwining, our bond reborn, stronger than Pilsen's scars. Chicago's stars watched as Marcus carried me from the warehouse, his breath clouding, his grip a lifeline. The hospital key, warm in my palm, linked us to the law compass, to Mom's laughter in the penthouse. Victoria's defeat, her knife, her plan, faded, but words stayed trapped. My shame for rejecting him needed no voice. His eyes, deep as a forest heart, spoke forgiveness, their light like his sister's sketches. Mom ran to me, her scarf his, her tears falling as she held me, Pilsen's fear gone. In the penthouse, the fern swayed, its green a promise of peace. Marcus knelt, checking my wrists, his touch gentle as stream water, no questions asked. I handed him the key, its silver gleaming, and he nodded, understanding its weight without words. Hope, a flame in winter, burned bright, fear silenced. The penthouse's glow, fairy lights, Dad's photo, cradled us, a haven from Victoria's storm. Mom brewed his tea, her hands steady, and we sat, our silence a song of trust. His fingers grazed mine, a vow unspoken, like wind through pines. Chicago's pulse hummed below, and our bond, fragile yet fierce, grew, rooted in shared scars. As moonlight fell, we stayed close, no words needed, just love, solid as earth, holding us whole. Dawn kissed the penthouse as we rested. Marcus nearby, his coat draped over me, its warmth like sun on soil. The hospital key rested beside the law compass, their secrets entwined, tying us to that alley, that hospital night. Victoria's ropes, her venom, were shadows, her empire broken by Marcus's resolve. I'd hurt him, spurned his gift, but his gaze, calm as a lake's surface, needed no apologies. Mom's hands, soft with his blanket, brushed my hair, her smile a beacon. In the quiet, Marcus passed me my journal, its pages waiting, and I wrote a line, a girl finds home, his nod my anchor. No words, just his presence, steady as a river's bend, healed us. Hope, a tide lifting stones, surged, no longer a threat. I saw his sister's dreams in the fern sway, her light in our haven. Pilsen's cold. Victoria's greed couldn't touch us here. Chicago's skyline glowed, and we sat, hands close, Mom humming his tune. Our bond, woven through pain, stood, a forest unyielding, as sunlight spilled. Warming Dad's photo, we breathed together. No explanations, just trust, like roots deep in earth, our family reborn, carrying us beyond the dark, toward a dawn we'd face as one. Chicago's morning sun warmed the penthouse as Marcus spread blueprints, a vision for the Lily Anderson Hope Foundation, a community center for Pilsen's youth. The law compass gleamed beside my journal, its needle true, tying us to the alley where I'd saved him. Victoria's shadow, her knife, her greed, was gone, her trial looming. But our purpose bloomed. Mom, sipping his tea, sketched a mural for the center, her hands alive, no longer worn by diner shifts. I spoke of Dad's stories, how they'd lifted us, and proposed writing classes for kids like me. Marcus's eyes, bright as cedar, nodded, his sister's love for art guiding us. We planned gardens, tech labs, a haven for dreams, not wealth, but heart. I wrote a mission statement, my words bold. And Marcus read it, his clap warm as sunlit soil. Hope, a river through stone, flowed. Pilsen's scars would heal through us. The hospital key, now on a chain, hummed, its mystery part of this rebirth. We weren't rich in gold, but rich in care, our work a light for others. As we pored over plans, Chicago's skyline sparkled, the penthouse alive with our shared dream. Mom's smile, Dad's photo glowing. Grounded me. Our center, like a forest rising, would stand, giving kids hope I'd once chased. Midday light filled the penthouse as we gathered, Marcus pinning the blueprint beside the fern. Its front soft as hope's whisper. The law compass and hospital key, side by side, linked us to Pilsen's grit, to Victoria's defeat. Mom, freed from the diner, planned art rooms. Her voice bright as a meadow's bloom. I spoke of kids I'd known, hungry for more than bread, and suggested story circles, my pen dancing in the journal he'd given me. Marcus shared his sister's dream of spaces where youth could grow, her spirit in our foundation's roots. We mapped a library, computers, a stage, tools for futures, not fame. I read a poem. A girl planting seeds, and Mom's eyes shone, Marcus's hand steady on my shoulder, like oak in a storm. Hope, a tide lifting stones, surged, no fear now, our work was enough. The penthouse, with Dad's frame and fairy lights, held our purpose, a hearth for Pilsen's lost. The keys pulse, once a riddle, now sang of renewal. Chicago's hum rose, and we, not wealthy but whole, built meaning. Our center a beacon. As we worked, Mom's mural sketch bloomed, and I saw our legacy, like a prairie reborn, giving kids wings where I'd once run. Twilight draped Chicago as Marcus lit the lantern. Its glow soft as starlight over the blueprint. The law compass pointed home, the hospital key a quiet vow of survival, past Victoria's ropes, her fallen empire. Mom, weaving a throw. Planned music classes, her joyous song Pilsen hadn't heard. I spoke of the alley, how my scream sparked this, and proposed mentorships, kids guiding kids, my words in the typewriter's click. Marcus's voice, low as a forest's hum, told of his sister's sketches, her hope for community, now ours. We envisioned a rooftop garden, green against concrete, a place to breathe. I wrote a story, a girl building bridges, and Marcus smiled, Mom clapping, their pride warm as embers. Hope, a flame in winter, burned bright. Our center would lift Pilsen, not with riches, but love. The penthouse, alive with ferns, tea, or laughter, was our first victory. The key's light, once a mystery, now lit our path. Chicago's stars blinked, and we, rich in purpose, wove a future. Our foundation a tree taking root. As night fell, Mom's throw warmed me, Dad's pen gleamed, and I knew our work, like a river carving stone, would endure, giving hope to those I'd once been. Chicago's dawn bathed the penthouse, gilding the blueprint for our Hope Foundation as Marcus handed me a silver pen, engraved with Lily. For our work, he said, its weight like a vow, tying us to the law compass to Pilsen's alley. Victoria's trial loomed, her knife a fading scar, but our bond stood firm. Mom, weaving a scarf, smiled, her hands free of Pilsen's toil. I spoke of Dad, how his stories shaped me, and placed his old pen beside the new, a bridge of love. Marcus's eyes, warm as cedar, met ours, his sister's spirit in our center's roots. We signed the foundation's charter, our names a pact, no words needed, just trust, like soil holding seeds. I wrote a story for the kids, a girl finding family, and Marcus nodded. Mom's touch soft as moss. The hospital key on its chain hummed. Its mystery now our strength. Hope, a river through stone, flowed. We'd chosen each other, not for wealth, but purpose. The penthouse, with ferns and fairy lights, held our promise, Chicago's skyline a canvas for dreams. As we stood, pins gleaming, Mom's scarf around me, we were family, bound by care, our foundation a tree rising. Its branches sheltering Pilsen's youth, rooted in love that wouldn't break. Midday sun warmed the penthouse, the law compass glinting beside our charter as Marcus gave Mom a sketchbook. Its pages crisp as autumn leaves. For your murals, he said, his voice low, like a stream's ripple, linking us to the hospital key, to Victoria's defeated greed. I spoke of Pilsen's hunger, how it forged me, and set Dad's photo by the fern, his smile our guide. Mom sketched a garden, her joy bright as prairie grass, and we vowed to build it, our foundation a home for lost kids. Marcus shared his sister's love for creation, her light in our work, his hand steady as oak. I read a poem, a girl weaving hope, and Mom's eyes shone, Marcus's clap warm as sunlit soil. The keys pulse, once a riddle, now sang of us, family, chosen in Chicago's heart. Hope, a tide lifting stones, surged, fear gone. We were enough. The penthouse, alive with tea, laughter, glowed. Our charter signed, a silent oath. Chicago's hum rose, and we, rich in love, stood together, sketchbook open, pens ready. Mom's scarf warmed my shoulders, and our bond, like a forest unyielding, grew. Our foundation a beacon for Pilsen, its roots deep, promising kids' dreams where I'd once fought shadows. Twilight fell. Chicago's stars piercing the penthouse as Marcus placed a carved box by the law compass, its ivy like the hospital's gift. For us, he said, opening it to reveal 3 braided cords, woven tight. Symbols of our vow. Victoria's ropes were history, her trial a distant storm, but our family shone, forged in Pilsen's fire. I spoke of Dad's laughter, how it lived in me, and tied a cord round Mom's wrist, her eyes soft as moonlight. Marcus shared his sister's hope for connection, tying mine, his touch gentle as stream water. I bound his, our hands meeting. No words, just love, like roots entwining. I wrote a line in the sketchbook, a girl choosing home, and Mom drew beside it, Marcus smiling, our charter alive. The keys light, now clear, wove us to that alley, that rescue. Hope, a flame in winter, burned bright, our foundation a garden to grow Pilsen's youth. The penthouse, with Dad's pen, our laughter, was sacred. Chicago's glow our witness. As night deepened, cords gleaming, we stood, family in every breath, our work a river carving stone, giving kids hope I'd found. Mom's sketch bloomed, and our bond, vast as a prairie sky, held, promising a future built on love. Chicago's sunset bathed the penthouse, gilding our hope foundation's charter as we sat, laughter soft as a stream's ripple. The law compass glowed beside the hospital key, tying us to Pilsen's alley where my scream saved Marcus. Victoria's trial had ended, her knife a fading scar, but our family, me, Mom, Marcus, blossomed. Rooted in love. Mom's mural, sketched for the center, danced with color, her hands free of toil. I spoke of Dad, how his stories led me here, a girl once lost, now found. Marcus's eyes, warm as cedar, held us, his sister's spirit in our work. We ate soup, steam curling like mist, the penthouse alive with ferns, fairy lights, our cords of vow. I'd feared hope, lost Dad, faced Victoria's ropes, but learned love, not wealth, builds futures. Our center would lift Pilsen's kids, giving them wings I'd earned. Chicago's skyline glowed, a canvas of second chances. I wrote a story, a girl rising. And Mom smiled, Marcus nodding, our bond a forest unyielding. If you found hope in darkness, share your tale. Like this video, subscribe, and tell us the story in your heart. As night fell, soup warming us, Dad's pen gleamed, our family whole, our foundation a river carving stone, promising light for all who'd follow. Twilight wrapped the penthouse, Chicago's stars bright as our foundation's dream. The law compass, beside Mom's sketchbook, pointed home, the hospital keys pulse a hymn of survival. Victoria's greed, her warehouse, was dust, our love, forged in Pilsen's fire, stood taller. Mom stirred tea, her laughter a melody, freed from diner shifts. I spoke of that alley, how one scream wove us. And how Dad's loss taught me resilience. Marcus's faith my guide. His voice, low as a forest hum, shared his sister's hope for community, now alive in our center. We hung a mural plan. Its colors like prairie blooms for kids to dream. I'd faced fear of Victoria's blade, my pride, but found love stronger, a tide lifting stones. Our foundation, not rich but rich in care, would grow Pilsen's youth. Chicago's lights danced, and I read a poem, a girl binding wounds, Marcus's clap warm as embers. If second chances lit your path, share them, like, subscribe. Tell us your heart story. The penthouse, with Dad's photo, our braided cords, breathed, our family a haven. As dusk deepened, tea steaming, we sat close, our work a star in Chicago's dark. Guiding kids to hope I'd claimed, a legacy of love, eternal. Night cloaked Chicago, the penthouse aglow with our foundation's promise. The law compass and key, entwined, sang of Pilsen. Of Victoria's fall, of us family chosen. Mom wove a throw, her joy bright as fireflies, Pilsen's scars healed. I spoke of Dad's laughter, how it carried me through hunger, fear, to Marcus's side. His sister's sketches, her light, lived in our center, a home for stories like mine. We ate bread, its warmth like sun on soil, the penthouse rich with ferns, laughter, love. I'd lost hope, faced ropes, but learned one voice, mine, could change worlds, as in that alley. Our foundation, built on heart, not gold, would lift kids, give them my law compass. Chicago's pulse hummed. And I wrote a line, a girl weaving stars, Mom's eyes shining, Marcus's hand steady. If you've risen from shadows, share your story, like, subscribe, let us hear your hope. The penthouse. With Dad's pen, our mural plans, was sacred, our bond a river through stone. As stars blinked, bread crumbling, we dreamed, our family whole, our work a forest rising. Giving Pilsen's youth the light I'd found, a call to all to build, to love, to hope.